So we create one piece of artwork, and then with that piece of artwork, we give you multiple production versions so that you're ready to go no matter what you're doing. The main line we start off with is what we call as a digital version. It's a fully painted, high detailed. Me and my guys, we start off with pencil sketches, and we paint these things up like if it was on canvas. So actually, some of my guys still work on canvas. So this would be your digital version. This would be for direct-to-garment, dye sublimating, offset printing, whatever you need it to do. The next step we take is we then make a print cut version. Now the print cut version would be for your print cutters, and what makes ours different from anything else is not only do we put a cut line around the image, but you can see this like pushed part of the image. It's coming off the edge here. This bleed we put around the image is for the fact that if we just had the cut line on there, the blade's not 100% perfect. It's gonna like leave little white edging and things like that, and especially if you're putting this on a dark material or garment, you're going to see that it stands out, it doesn't look good. So we push these edgings out far enough so that whether you're printing this at full size, whether it's 14 inches, or if you're printing it at 10 inches, we've got a thick enough bleed that that white edging isn't going to show up. The next file type we do is for the screen printers. It's a pre-separated screen print file, already separated for screen printing, all your colors ready to go. So we're not talking about screen, we won't get too detailed, but we do have that for screen printers. Then we have an inkjet laser printer version. What this is now this image, it doesn't illustrate the reason for this one as much, but with like an oaky whitey printer, you can't have soft edges. Like if I had like a faded blue water going on behind here, it's not going to print that fading off. It needs a nice hard edge. So what we do is we take every image, even if the original has a faded edge, and we create a hard edge so that it'll come out nice, clean, and clear for those kind of printing. Then we got, we call it the screen print black line, but this is actually your regular vector artwork. This is the same stuff we've all been dealing with forever and a day. It's typical vector artwork, node-based, drawn. There you go. Use it for screen printing, everything. Now we've taken, and for vinyl cutting, we actually, this is what makes the vinyl cutting and the reason we do a vinyl cut version from everything else. So actually let's start with the vector version first. So you can see in the vector version, if you were going to vinyl cut this, you're going to be weeding forever. I mean, this hat alone is like 8, 10, 12 pulls itself. And then you're getting into the teeth here. Each one of these is its own pull. So in the past, when you've bought regular vector clip art, you've got to dumb this down. You either pull things out, you break this open, you pull, you have to sit there and make all these adjustments. Well, here at Great Dane, our job is to make your easier. Is to make it quicker and faster. I mean, the time to take this to weed it's up there. I mean, and the more time you spend, the less jobs you get done, less money you make. So what we've done is we make a vinyl cut version of the image as well. And as you can see, it's a bit more simplified, but the reason for that is because we make it as few as pulls as possible so that your weeding is just boom, boom, done. So as you can see here, like this white area would all be, material that you'd have to pull off. But when you come down in here, you see it's still all connected in here. Into the hat, come down under here, through here, all the way back up. That whole piece is one pull. So it just makes your life a lot easier and helps you move a lot quicker. Now, we do take it one more step further because not everything is going to be full chest or full bag or 14 inches or whatnot. And even this one, if you were going to do something like a left chest, even this one, it's too much detail. Your cutter's not going to get in there. Pieces aren't going to come out. It's just too much. So we actually even do what we call a vinyl cut basic version, which is an even more simplified version of the detail. So this way, if you did this at 3.5 inches, that's your typical left chest, it's still going to hold, and you can pull it. Weeding is still a breeze. You just move really quickly. So not only do we give you all these multiple different file types, but one of the coolest features, I think, is we also have what we call a customizer. So let's go back to the detailed one. So let's say your customer's right there. You guys aren't we all have this. Sometimes you're just not grasping what it is they want. It's something you can say, hey, listen, can you give me just some base idea on what you need us to do? So in our customizer, you can push, pull, this, that, size it up, add type. Bear with me, I am a horrible speller. So you can put your type in there. Well, since this would be for vinyl cutting, we're not going to be messing with anything color, but you can, different types of texture, fonts, I mean. And then you've got, like I said, you got your solids, your gradients, you even add texture, but again, this is vinyl cut, we're not going to be messing with any of that. So we got some effects down here, so if you want to arc it, you can control the arc. Now it's way too big. And there you go. And then once you're done, if it's exactly where your customer wanted it, you actually can download it right now. Just click the download button. You can download it as a PDF or PNG. The PNG would be for your digital printing. Obviously, a PNG is not going to work for us because for vinyl cutting, we need the nodes. So the nodes are our golden path to tell the blade where to go. So what you would do for vinyl cut is we download the PDF. But just on a side note, if you do any digital printing or anything like that where you like the full color version, you can do it all here and then download the PNG file as well. So my file's already downloaded here. We'll get to that in a minute and I'll open that. First, let's find an image for our layout that we're going to be building as well since we're already here. And then I'll go over how it downloads, where you can find the file, everything else. So we'll close out of here. Since it is football season, or getting into it, let's do a football image. Oh, there we go, now it's picked up. All right, so when you are searching the Great Dane website, when you type in football, as you see, it is going to pull up all the various versions. Like you can see this cool football guy here that's showing us, the stock art version, the football, the digital version, the print cut version, all the different versions. Well, since we're just doing vinyl cutting, I really only want to see the vinyl cuts stuff, and I kind of want to only see the detailed ones. So you come over here for your choices here, and I'm just going to click vinyl cutting. And then it just gives me just the vinyl cut detail versions of what it is I'm searching. So, scrolling through here, yeah, let's do this guy, football fire. As you can see, it gives me all the variations, Others do. There are a lot that have even an embroidery version, but, if you do embroidery. So we got the vinyl cut detailed one here. And then now, again, you can see what the difference is between the two. So like if I was doing something for a left chest, I'd download this one. So, but we want the detailed one. So when you download it, you just click the download button. As you can see, I'm logged in up here. You get, it's going to take a credit off, not a big deal. Just click the download button. Give it a second, and it says, yep, looks like it's downloaded already. So for Windows users, like with Macs, Macs do have a download folder, but obviously we're focusing on Corel, so we're predominantly going to be on the PC side. So for Windows users, there is a default folder for which anything you download off the internet, even from our site or you download somewhere else, goes to a downloads folder on your computer. It's usually found under this PC, downloads. Now, those kind of settings and stuff, we have seen people that have somehow mixed that up, or they send it to their desktop or some other folder. So you're going to have to be careful and find out your settings on where it's downloading. Now, first we'll look at this. This is our PDF. Let's put them over here, open up Corel. That was that little design we did on the Great Dane site. Go to my desktop. It's already there. I just wasn't paying attention. Download the design. And we want to bring it in as curves. Click OK. Boom, there he is. All ready to go. So that's a nice little feature we got on the site. I think it helps a lot of people out. So, okay, back to the design we downloaded. All right, so when downloading, you're going to notice something on this file type. It's got a little zipper to it. I'm going to explain more detail what that is. I just want to say this, that for those of you who do know what a zip file is, just bear with me because you would be shocked how often we get asked and called about this question because there's a lot of people who don't. Now, for Mac users, it's a wonderful thing. They just download it. It automatically through Safari will unzip it. Boom, there it is. We're not on a Mac, we're on a PC, so we have to handle it the PC way. So a zip file, basically, the best analogy that I can give what a zip file is it's like a suitcase. When you're going traveling, you don't just grab all your clothes and hold them in your arms and then take off, because you're going to lose clothes are going to get damaged, things like that. You put it in a suitcase, you zip it up, it protects your clothes, it keeps them compact, condensed all together so it gets safely to one place. A zip file is the same exact thing for a file. We zip them up so it can be compressed, so you're not down. It doesn't take as long to download. We zip them up so they don't get corrupted as the files are being transferred back and forth on the internet. That is why we zip them up. It's like a suitcase, but like a suitcase, you got to unzip it to get your clothes. So how do we unzip it? All right, I am on the latest version of Windows, and it's a lot easier now on the latest versions, because all we need to do is just double-click it, and a new window pops up. I'm going to close my download window here. So in the new window, it tells you what's inside that zip folder. It says FB20 vinyl cut detail. So you can just drag this folder out if you want, and it'll copy it to your desktop, and then to treat it like any other folder, and then you open it, and there's the artwork. Or you can even do it in here, and then just grab the artwork and put that on your desktop. That's dealer's choice. Now, I do want to explain this because you will see this sometimes on some of the files. Ignore it. That is nothing. It's because, yes, we work on Macs most of the time. So for some reason, we don't know why it puts that in there. I don't know, because we're mostly zipping these on Macs. So same thing with this DS store. That pops up all the time because we're zipping these files on our Macs. I don't know why it pops up, but you can just ignore it. There's nothing there. Basically, you want to focus on the type of file you want to use, because we give you multiple file types. We give you an EPS file, which is pretty universal for anything that deals with vector. We give you an AI file, which would be for Illustrator, because Adobe is on a PC, so we give you an AI file, and then we give you a CorelDraw file. Well, we're going to be focusing on CorelDraw. I'm actually going to delete this folder. So what I want to do then in the zip file still is I want to just grab the Corel file, and I'm going to drag it to my desktop and just drop it. Popped in down there. I'm just going to move it up here. So now that it's on my desktop, we're good to go. Now, I am going to address one thing, because this is another thing that a lot of people get issues with, is a lot of people are used to, hey, I have this file on my desktop, double-click it, it'll automatically open in CorelDraw. The reason it does that is Windows has default settings for the extensions, which are the type of files they are. Sometimes, like, some people will, how best to put this, they might be using the EPS file. Let's say, for instance, they downloaded the EPS version and they double-click it and it's not opening in their Corel. We will have people call us frustrated saying, hey, it's not opening, it's not opening. And what I usually recommend is opening through Corel, because for some reason default settings might have been messed up. Somebody might accidentally click this versus that. And for some reason, when your Windows C, you double-click on a file out here on your desktop that has an extension like .eps, your Windows has a default setting saying, open this in, I don't know, whatever, Internet Explorer, it doesn't matter, Word, and then Word's like, I can't read this file, and you're just sitting there frustrated. So I like to always open files in the program. So I'm going to go to Corel, and we're first going to start off because I want to show you a little bit more about the differences between the two types of vinyl cut files, since before we get into using that football image. So let's go open. I'm already on my desktop, and we're going to use this tiger. So again, when we created this artwork specifically for vinyl cutters in mind. Those are the only people we were concerned about, to make your job faster, to make it easier. So when creating that artwork, we have a set rule of standards for each piece. So we're going to zoom in here. Corel zoom is so... All right, so as you can see, there's a lot of open spaces again. Zoom out just a little bit. There's a lot of open spaces. I mean, and when we're drawing these things, that's exactly our intention. Our thought is to keep it open, so it's one pole, two poles most. We don't have a lot of thin lines. Like, I mean, this upper ear part comes out to a point, but we've checked it. And how we check it, and how I recommend you guys check your vinyl artwork if you are adjusting something or creating from scratch is we use a dot at 1/16 of an inch. So let's zoom in so I can see the ruler more, is really what I want to see. So I'm going to make this dot 1/16, that's 1/8, so I'll start here. Oops. And let's fill it with black. I'll grab it, just bring it up here, just making sure. Yep, it's about 1/16, good enough for government work. So I like to make it actually green. And here's why, is because I'm dealing with black, and let's take the stroke off too. And here's why, is because the green stands out on top of black, so I can see it better if I'm checking things. So let's zoom back out. Actually, that's not that far out because we need to check some of the dots. So what I would do is if I had just created this and I'm checking my size, I take this green dot and I kind of, well, first we want above everything. There we go. And, I run it around here, I'm checking, just making sure the spaces. You want to check both the black area in between both sides. You want to check even the white areas in between those sides, And if it's bigger than, if it's at 1/16 or bigger, you're good for cutting. You're not going to get anything curl up on you or anything like that. This coming to a point is fine. You just don't want it to be super long. Even up here should be fine. But if this node was like, if it just continued coming out like further this way and kept getting thinner, no, that's not going to work because that's how you're going to get stuff curling up on you. So you don't want to have a point coming out too far. So like you said, we double check it. Yeah, let's zoom back out. Actually, hold on. Let's go over to the 3-inch. Can't forget my dot. When you're doing something on the larger side like this big tire head that's at 10 inches, you don't have to, it's not, you're usually pretty safe when creating as long as you're keeping those rules in mind that you don't want to go super thin, you don't want to have long, thin lines, things like that. So when I'm creating the 3-inch is when this becomes even more necessary because with 3 inches you really don't want sharp, long points. You want to start rounding some things out. Like up here, what we did to that ear is because it was way too thin, is we rounded it out. So we didn't have that long, thin point. But you just come in here, I like to check it. This coming down, yeah, it's smaller than 1/16, but it's fine. It's going to be all right. Like I said, if it kept going, no good. So, but again, as you can see, the big difference between the 3-inch and the 10-inch that we've already done for you. So we can zoom out some. So like I said, that's what I would recommend doing, and that's what we've done with every image so that they're all so much easier to use. We've double-checked it for you. That's why we call them cut-ups, but our vinyl cut images are so easy to use. They're such weed-friendly. We've done the work for you. So let's say you are subscribing to our site, which, by the way, I did want to mention that if you hang on to the end of the conference here, I'm actually going to have a code to show you that you will be able to use on our website for a free month. You can go on the site, download some of the images, test them out, play around with them, totally free. And I'll show you guys that code at the end. So, all right, so back to this. And so now that, let's say you are a subscriber, you're ready to go to do your vinyl cut. Where do you go from here? Yes, it's already ready to go. We get that it's easy to weed now, but what's the next steps? So let's go back to let's open the football. So I'm going to file open, and obviously I want the vinyl cut detail. So it's a little bit bigger than I want it right now, so we're just going to resize it, so I click on it. One side thing for Corel users, I do apologize for this, but I don't know why it does this, but sometimes it has a tendency of throwing the artwork on what they call an art layer. You need to move it onto a regular layer. Reason being is when we start doing welding and messing with type, it starts seeing the objects differently for some reason. So we want it on a regular layer, so I'm just going to move it there. So now it's fine. So let's resize. To resize, if I say a quick key command wrong, I do apologize. Like I said, I work on Macs as well. Quick keys are different there, and my mind might flip to Mac mode. But the thing is whereas in like Illustrator, you usually have to hold the Shift key if you want to constrain proportions, keep everything the same as you're, bringing it in. Corel, you don't have to do that when you're sizing it. You just grab the corner here. If you want to center it and constrain it, you would hold the Control or the Shift key down, and that would keep it in like the center position as you're resizing. So let's size this down a little bit. Quick key command to center it on your page is the letter P. Use that one all the time when we're setting up our print cuts because we have to have the cut line perfectly on. So when we merge the two, that P helps get it nice and center. So there, we could probably go a little bit bigger actually. Center it again. Push this sucker up. All right, so the next thing is we want to put a font. Let's say the high school team is the Jackson High Tigers. So I'm just going to put a nice little font layout to this. So you're going to use our font tool. There. Oh, had the caps lock on. Jackson High. I'm going to pick a nice bold font for this. Obviously, when you're setting up layouts and doing artwork, and especially with the type, you want to pay attention to the types of types you pick. Like using long, thin, brushy ones, be careful on those. Thicker the better because it'll hold better with, the material hold better. If you pick a thicker font, we don't recommend a lot with serifs on it. I do have one. This has a little bit of a serif, but it's not. Let me size this up larger so you guys can see it. I'm going to want high on the other side because I want to put tiger there actually, so I'm going to get this right. And then I'm going to go to our text properties, which I've got the tab already here. You can find it under Windows, Dockers, and text, and you get text properties. So that's where you can find that. So when it's selected, I'm going to justify right. And then if sometimes like we get picky around here, Dane and I both, we do about like when we're designing things, like if letters aren't spaced or you want them closer, or the leading is in between these two, we call it kerning with the space between the letters. Corel has just the kind of features to adjust that. Like if I wanted to bring them closer, I can come over here, and you'll see right here, here's where I can kind of bring them closer using the leading. Actually, it was a decent distance away already, so I'm pretty much just a little bit. And then there's the kerning over here. You can bring the letters closer if we want. Now we can get in there too, and get even pickier. Like I don't like how. Oh, it didn't let me do that. Okay. But we can get in there and then hold on. So we can jam the letters closer or further out. I'm going to go right about there. That'll work. So now I want to add the word tigers, which is our mascot. Now I'm going to set it to the same font for right now as our Jackson. I'm rethinking this actually. Now let's just add a couple design elements just to kind of highlight it a little bit better, and then we're going to come back to the tigers. So I want to put a couple bars right here. That way it kind of like makes the tigers, it singles it out a bit better so it doesn't accidentally read like Jackson Tiger High. So to do that, I'm going to start using my guides. So let's get it right on top of the H here. I want to zoom in even more actually because I want to see exactly where it's at. So there we go. And then we're going to Add a little rectangle in here. And stop right about there. That looks good. I'm actually going to fill it with black and take the stroke off. And click OK. And I'm going to create another one. So there's numerous ways you can do that. You can go edit copy, and then come back and go edit paste. Your quick key commands to do it very quickly are Control-C to copy it, Control-V to place it, or paste it. And it'll paste it right on top of the previous one. So we can hold that. And then I like to hold my Shift key because it keeps it steady. If I take the Shift key off, it starts shifting all over the place. It might end up a little bit this way or that way. So I like to hold the Shift key, which keeps it in line. Right down on my guide. And now that I'm done with the guides, we want to get rid of these. For some reason, cutters don't like it if there's guides in there when you bring it in. So you actually want to delete them. Normally for everything else, you can leave guides. They don't see it. But for cutting, we do want to take these out. So what you want to do is select the guide, right-click on it, and click delete. All right. Now let's bring that tiger in. We'll zoom back out a little bit. We don't want to go too far. So now let's bring tigers back. All right. So kind of pretty centered. Now I'm going to size it. Holding the Shift key because I want to keep it in the middle here. As you can see, I mentioned before about when you're picking lettering. So it's, again, I'm going to reiterate, you do want to pick thick fonts. You want thick fonts. Don't go too crazy on the serifs. I mean, this is a serif, but it's not that bad. It only comes out a little ways, but it's a very thick, collegiate style, But this tiger's a lot smaller than the Jackson and the High. So you have to think of it in that terms. Remember this 1/16 inch of a dot. You got to roll it around, see it out, and these edges aren't really going to work. So I'm going to actually want to use a different font for tigers than I am Jackson and High. So let's use GeoMetro, and now we got to resize it a little bit, and right about there is good. All right, so the main thing right now, these are all in text mode, and these are now all separate pieces. You can see that in the Object Manager. For some reason, it put these all in that art layer. I want them all on layer 1. So let's go to page. And let's center it a little bit here. Okay, so now that I'm in, now the biggest thing for cutting is I can't go straight to cutting right away. But actually, you know what? Before we get into that, let's skew this real quick. I just like to add a little more flair to the design. Like right now, you'll see it. It's it looks fine, but I mean, the more interest you can put into it, the better it looks, the better your client likes it, the more they come back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I can skew this, I actually have to take it out. Right now, you can see it's in rectangle type and type mode. I have to take it out of that. Quick way to do that is just to weld them all together. When you've got many objects up here, and you want to make them all one solid piece, you can come up here and then there's your weld button. So I click that, boom. Gave them all nodes. As you can see, it's curves. It's one piece. So now I can come to my transform, and it already has 10 degrees here. Normally it'll say 0, but you would I type in 10 degrees, I hit apply, and there you go, quick shift. So then now that I've done that, I'm going to tuck this up, just touching the black of the football, and I like it. It almost seems like the ball's going over it, but you don't want to go up too high because remember this, all the white area is negative space. That's the space that's going to be pulled. So if you put it up here, or the ball over the letters, you're going to get, you're going to see the A peeking through here. So I just want to get it touching a little bit in there. Yeah, that's good enough. So are we ready to go to printing yet? Absolutely not. we need this all to be one piece. So this is where welding comes in. You need to make sure everything is welded together. Beauty is with our vinyl cut stuff, it's already welded together. It's already one piece when you bring it in. So but anything else you add, you have to make sure you weld them all together. And right now, yeah, we just created this type, looks nice, everything looks good, but it needs to be one piece with the ball. So we got to weld them together to do the same. Click curves, then we click weld, and now it's all one piece. We go to the wireframe. Yeah, you can see in here it's all merged in. Anything that's touching is now all merged. So now it's all one piece and ready to go. The next step, we'll go back to, well, actually, we need to create a cut line. So what we do to create the cut line, it's fairly easy. So here's what we'll do to create the cut line is, actually I like to go back to normal view and then click on the curve as a whole, and then I'm going to Control C and Control V, which is copy and then paste it. Copy, paste. That dumps it on that stupid art layer. And then again, I don't want it filled with a color, so I am going to first, I know you guys can't see this, but my little tab to this go-to thing is covering right where I can see the palette, so I need to move this thing out of the way. There it is, okay. So over here on the far right here are the roll inverse cams. With cutters, you got to make sure you put the right cut contour color for your line width. So what I'm going to do to open up is double click in the square, opens up my line. I'm going to pick the size, hairline, and then I'm going to pick a color. Instead of hunting it down, I mean you can hunt it down through this, the tables and stuff. Since I already got it open, it's really easy. Just grab the eyedropper, come over here and click it, boom, there it goes. And it's the roll inverse, it works, comes standard. Just click on that, click OK, and I want to take that color out of it, so I just come up here, hit the X, and now you can see we have a cut line going around everything. Yes, I want to zoom. Yeah, all around the outside edging of it. So at this point, it would pretty much be ready to go to your cutter. Yeah, and then you would just send it to your cutter. Now, again, with the welding, you got to be careful with that. It's best to go to wireframe after you're done with any design. I recommend that strongly because, I mean, I'm going to show you an example here. But the reason behind that is you might have a piece you missed, or you might have, say for instance, like if this and this weren't the same piece, and you're just going to cause problems, you're going to be going back and forth, and it's just going to drive you nuts. So let me bring up an example of that. I got this. So we got this Peace, Love, Dance design. It's a nice little design. I'm going to, let's say you put this whole thing together. I'm going to fill this with a color. Oops, that one's not knocked out. But regardless, we needed this all to be welded together. And you can see here there's a lot of areas where things are touching. We got here to the L and the V. Now, in Illustrator, they call it compound path, and in Corel, we call it welding. So again, what you got to do is, that's why I say putting in the wireframe is the best. And so you want to grab everything that needs to go together, and then bring it in. Same thing with down here. And there we go. So as you can see, it's necessary at the end. I mean, then you can simply use your object manager and weld everything else together. And now it's one piece. So I am talking a little too fast, so we're going to go back here and hold on one second here. All right, so with the welding, as we talked about that, let me get me out of my wireframe. And fit the page. All right, so this, like I mentioned before, this is pretty much done. I mean, it's an easy enough design to put together. It's ready to go. When you weed this, it's gonna pull in. As you can tell here, we've got pretty much 2 pulls. I think that, no, maybe it's all 1 pull. No, it'd be 2. It'd be like 3 or 4 pulls. So again, with our vinyl cut, that's a big, big difference. And so, I mean, as you've seen before, with the vector stuff, there's just so much more you have to weed. So like I said, we simplify it down. We add the type in there. We can go back to, there's another image. Actually, I want to show you a really big difference. Let's download again. Let's go vinyl cut detail. Where is he? Yeah, that's a cool one. All right, we'll download the detail, and we're going to download the vector one as well. All right, so again, it's in our downloads folder. And don't know why I downloaded twice, but I'll get the Corel version out. This one really going to use the EPS. Actually, Corel now, like the current version, it will open an AI file now too. So actually, I'm going to pull the AI file out because I am using Corel 8, the latest version. Let's go back into Corel. File open. Let's go to the eagle. File open. And where's the other eagle? There we go. All right, let's just copy and paste him, cut, bring him on over, and then you can really see the difference. I mean, when using vector artwork, this would be what you'd have to back in the day. And even now still, I mean, you buy most collections out there and they're all ready like this. I mean, this is a lot of work. All these open spaces, you're going to be weeding for forever. So when you design, if you have to do it yourself or you're using our stuff, you want to make things open, connect wide areas, and that's what we've done. Because you come in here, you know, it's a lot fewer pieces. It works out a lot better. It makes things easier. It's just one piece. You add your type again, and you weld it on there. So, like I said, I have been talking a little too fast. I do apologize, but you know, I can show you some other things, but I'd like to see if there's any questions on anything. Was it nothing not clear? I think there is one already here. Yeah, you can make it the cut line. I get that with the cut line. I just left it in there so you guys can visually see it. But you've got the cut line there. It has to be that same color. That's all you have to do is you have to make it that cut contour color. I mean, I know if every cutter has that rule. I mean, that's what we've been told. That's the way we set them up, even our print cut ones. Now, for print cutting, you're right. You need the image and the cut line both. But, you know, I just use it just for a visual just so you can see what we're working with here. Let's see if there's any. Here we go. How do you send art to Skew? Shoot. I do apologize for that. I do not have that on this computer. My computer is not connected up to a cutter. I do apologize. I don't have that program on here to show you that. So, any other questions? Or oh, here we go. We got one. can you keep the heart intact and eliminate the other lines? Can you clarify a little bit on that one? Are you saying, let me go back to that one. All right, so are you saying that, let's undo the weld and go back. That's okay. So whoever asked that question, can you keep the heart intact but eliminate the other lines? What do you mean? Like just keep this by itself where it's not with everything else, or? Okay. All right. So what he's asking is can you take just the heart away and put it on a design and then put the design on a website to sell? Not selling artwork, but selling a shirt with the artwork on it. That's a good question. That's actually a really good question to ask about Great Dane stuff, because you got to be careful about those kind of things. Yes, absolutely. Like, okay, so you could take this heart separate from itself, take it, make your own design, bring it into a new document, put like I Heart New York, and you could put it up on a website. You could put it on a shirt, on a product. Any Great Dane graphic artwork you purchase, there's basically 2 rules of thumbs you do with it. One, we don't want to see it in an online designer, so I don't mean to call it in the design. We just don't want it up on somebody else's server. And you can't sell or give away the artwork file. But like your example saying, hey, can I take this heart, print it out on some material, heat press it on there, sell the shirt on a website? Absolutely, all day long you can. You can do that with any of our artwork. That's what it's designed to do. If you're selling primarily on a website and you have our images on a product, yes, that's what you can do. You can sell it so long as it's on a product.
Joe, on that comment about the heart on the L and V,
yeah.
Also looks like what they wanted to do was to remove the line on the L and the V, not necessarily do a weld where it puts it together, but it looks almost like it should be a punch through, or maybe a front minus back type of a concept is what they were looking at, rather than it being a true weld.
I don't see what I mean, if you're going to be vinyl cutting anyways, you could, like, as long as these curves are in the front, you can do, because when you grab things in Corel, like, it's hard to see the questions and my object manager here, so hold on a second. All right, so if I grab the heart and I grab the V and I grab the L, yes, you have multiple options up here. This one is back minus front, so whatever in the back will, minus the front. There's, front minus back, remove the back object from the front object. So where is you have to use your object manager to do that. I mean, it's another way of doing it, yeah. So let's see which one's in the front. So we got the L in the front, V is behind the L, and the heart is above the V. So you'd want to make sure your V, if you're going to go, oops, I grouped them. Dang it. This is where Corel drives me crazy. There. Oh, that was the D. Dang it. All right, so now we got the V so it is going to knock out, but I mean, I don't really know why you'd want to use this for that kind of method. I mean, me personally, it's a lot simpler to do that, to make it one piece. Knocking it out, it doesn't really make much sense to me. I mean, this is where you're going to be playing with it, because sometimes it's just the way it goes. I would just weld it, in my personal opinion, if that's what you want. Let me see what else somebody else had. It's just this little window they give me to read the question marks, and I can't seem to make it larger. Okay, this is a good question. Somebody is asking, can files be opened in Corel X6, Corel X5? The answer is yes. We actually save all our files as far back as Corel X2, but it doesn't go any further than that. And each version of Corel that comes out, like 8, I noticed, or in 7, I could save it as far back as 10 or 9, or yeah, I think it was 10. But this one, I could only go as far back as 11. So I do recommend keep it up on your upgrades. I mean, don't get too far back, All right. There's another. Yeah, okay. The print cut line around the wording. I mean, you don't really even need to do that necessarily, duplicating and putting it around the wording. You can really, I only did it for visuals, like I said earlier. So, I mean, what you could do is I'll just eliminate the cut line I already had. Let's trash that. Just select, I can just select what I've already welded together and then simply, you know, fill it with the cut contour color. Just remember you need that. Make it a hairline. Oops, not none. Come here. I like to grab the eyedropper. It's easy since I got the palette open. Click OK. And then just eliminate the fill color. When you're not, there you go. Pretty simple. Again, welding is the key. Once everything's welded together, just turning it into that cut line is very simple. I like it when people have questions. All right, hold on 1 second here. Heart in a different color. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can make things any color you want. He was asking heart in a different color might be what he was looking for. I'm not sure, but I mean, we don't really need colors for vinyl cutting. As long as it's black.
Yeah, Joe, what they were referring to there is when they were asking you about doing the front minus back and knocking out the heart, they would make, when they're cutting their vinyl, the heart would maybe be red and the rest of the wording would be in black.
I follow. Okay, so if you're doing like a tube material vinyl cut,
two color final design, that's going to be two different colors of vinyl.
Right. So you'd want that heart knocked out so they're not touching. So basically, yes, you could do that. I think I see what you're saying now. Yeah. What you'd want to do is you're going to want to duplicate this heart a couple times and knock it out of each letter individually. So I'll take the heart here. I'm going to copy, paste in front since it centers itself right there. Make sure, let's make sure it's above the L, or below the L, I mean. Yeah, see it put it all the way up at the top, so we're going to bring it below. And then grab the L. Oops, pressed the wrong one. I want back minus front. There we go. Chop it there. You're going to grab the heart again, copy, paste. Find the V in your list here, or you can do the drop down, put it underneath the V, grab the 2, knock it out. So now, if you're doing 2 different type of materials, yes, it is, and we are knocked out. As you can see, it's knocked out the edging on both the L and the V. It's all those pieces up here, folks, that you want to do when you're knocking stuff out. I know it gets confusing. It happens to me all the time. People are like, oh, do I need to knock out back over front or front over back? It happens all the time. You just need to play with it. There's always the undo key. So hopefully that cleared that up.
Is extremely happy with you right now.
I'm glad, because I talked way too fast, and I know I'm going to hear it from Dane afterwards. And I'm glad I could answer the question there for you. All right, let me see. This window is so small with the question. Yeah, I think that's the same question I just had. Knock the heart out of the remainder of the letter. Could it still be? Yeah. It's not really creating, I apologize folks, I didn't mean the confusion with the cut line. It's not, I just did it so you could visually see like what you're working with when you're doing the design and you're putting it together. And I just was showing it on top of it. You know, what you would really do is like what I just showed you there, is you just basically you empty out the color on the fill and fill it with your cut contour color. Okay. Somebody is asking about if this session is being recorded and if they can see it later. Do you have an answer for them on that one?
Yes, the class is being recorded, and in about a week or so, it'll be available on the Stahls TV website.
Okay. What about turning the heart into rhinestones? I think that's going to be another class. I think it's going to be a different class. Somebody did ask that they missed about downloading the artwork on the website. And real quick, folks, let me because we only have 10 minutes here. Let me bring up, here's the code for you if you want to write this down. This is the code that will get you a free month on our website, so you can download these images, test them out, you know, practice your welding and everything. All you need to do to use it is simply create an account, and that's simply, here, I'm going to pull that out. Put it over here, and then we'll shrink this window just so I can show you. You can still have time to write that down.
And just
on our set,
just so I could remind you, Joe, that Dane did mention it in his class earlier today, that this code is for first-time subscribers.
Right, correct. Yes, it would be first-time subscribers, obviously, and then you'll get your free month. It's not even like you get full membership, no contract, no commitment. So let's. I don't know why this stuff keeps popping up. Because I am on a Surface Pro, it was defaulting to tablet mode. So just need, well, I'm already signed in, but you know, you sign out, create an account, and at the checkout, there'll be a spot for you to enter a promo code, and this is the code you need to enter. Somebody did mention that they missed on how to download from the website. It's really easy. Like I said, we literally label these things for what you need, and this is one thing I can't stress because this happens all the time. Just because this says EPS here doesn't mean it's for vinyl cutting. Focus on what the thing says on which image you need to download, because we get that all the time. They see EPS, we're used to using EPS, or they see CDR, and they're wanting a digital print, but it's the vinyl cut they end up downloading because they're focusing on this. Focus more on this, whatever it is you're doing, vinyl cut, click the download button, goes right to your downloads folder, and then just unzip it. Let me see if who has any other questions. No, someone said I thought it was a 3-month free membership. No, it is not. It's only 1 month. Sorry. All right. Were there any other questions here? We've got a few more minutes left. If anybody had any other questions about the welding or anything about, you know, anything else about Corel.
There's a question did come in that they're wondering, is the artwork that's on your site the same artwork that's on the CDs collection?
That is a good question if you've already got it, because you're right, we did sell it, you know, as on books on discs. Yes and no. We did go back, and it depends on what version, because there was a time when the books were all it was a PSD file that was just the screen print and digital version, and you'd have to save it in a weird kind of way. But that was many, many years ago. Then we separated it out. But there are some of the books that don't have the vinyl cutting version. I'm trying to remember though. I don't think we put any of the vinyl cut versions on any of the books. Yeah, I think the books don't have the vinyl cut version. At least books 1 through 3. I don't think they did. And Joe, I'd have to pull out some old books. Go ahead.
Correct that every Tuesday is New Artwork Tuesday?
Yep. Every week. That's my life right now. We get new artwork up every week. You're not waiting until another this or another that, and we got some other additions coming down the road. But yeah, every Tuesday is a new artwork day. We add 5 new images, every version of it, so it's pretty much like, you know, as you can see, there's 7 versions. And for all your embroidery, it's the same. We give you the embroidery versions of it too. We add that's a whole other thing in there as well. You can add on as a subscription as well.
Okay.
Any other questions for
nothing else that's
wrap this up?
As questions. So if you want to give your final wrap up, and then we'll close out the show from there.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, we went through everything. There's your code one last time to get your free month, and try it out. I mean, we only make your life easier. That's our main goal, is to make your life easier so your jobs are coming in and going out just as fast as possible, and you're making as much as you can. Thank you, guys.